Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. I am running solo once again. It's all good though. I'll probably have the fellas back in here to go over WWE Clash in Paris in our next episode. Nonetheless, we will be previewing WWE Clash in Paris as well as analyzing takeaways from AEW x New Japan Forbidden Door. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Let's get started with that Forbidden Door pay per view, AEW's annual collaborative event with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We didn't see too much participation from New Japan Pro Wrestling, not by choice of New Japan, but through circumstance. Unfortunately, while this is a busy time for Japanese wrestling, it just turned out that through injury, through calendars, through schedules, New Japan wasn't able to participate as much in Forbidden Door this year. No worries though, because as of this year, we have established that while Forbidden Door is AEW's chance to host the collaborative event between AEW and New Japan, New Japan has created an opportunity for themselves to host AEW on Japanese grounds. And that comes through Wrestle Dynasty, which is basically night two of Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom being basically a WrestleMania equivalent that New Japan Pro Wrestling puts on once a year. If I don't watch any New Japan all year, I make sure I at least watch Wrestle Kingdom. And now we have Wrestle Dynasty to follow that up, which is catered to more of an American audience at a little bit more of an American friendly time and features AEW stars. So, nonetheless, let's get into the two big takeaways for Forbidden Door. We saw the AEW World Tag Team Championship change hands as the Hurt Syndicate have held it for what feels like forever, really. We see Brodito, the teaming of Brody Lee and Bandito, a team that has gotten over in AEW very recently, going ahead and getting the win in a three-way tag team match at Forbidden Door. Bandito, the ROH World Champion, and Brody King are now your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. And sometimes it's fun for AEW to go ahead and throw guys together as long as it gets over the way that Brodito has recently. It's fun, right? In real life, these guys are good friends and they have great chemistry in the ring. And they've really proven that they're here to stay as a tag team. And I'm very excited for that. We saw the House of Black ultimately not work out in AEW. So much potential. Execution was not there. Very unfortunate. But as of recent times, execution has been there for All Elite Wrestling. And we see the execution for Brodito, a new tag team that just became World Tag Team Champions, pay off pretty well. We also had the main event, the Lights Out Steel Cage match, which saw Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the Golden Lovers, the team of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, taking on the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. Does Gabe Kidd count as the Death Riders? We're just going to consider him part of the Death Riders. He's been rolling with those guys for a minute. 5-on-5 Lights Out Steel Cage match. Very fun stuff, right? We saw just a splash of gore with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, the fork behind the ear spot. We saw a really awesome spot from the top of the cage between Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin. Very fun. We saw a bunch of cool stuff, just constant action. This main event really did save Forbidden Door, which didn't feel like it was getting a lot of participation for New Japan, and we already went over the reasoning for that. But having a bit of a schmoz, a 5-on-5 match consisting of this loose faction that is the Death Riders and the Young Bucks that have been a focal point of AEW television all year. It was very fun. Hiroshi Tanahashi gets the pin here. And we really do get to celebrate the collaboration between AEW and New Japan. We also get to see Swerve take on Okada, and I know both of those are AEW guys, contractually speaking, but Swerve is a New Japan guy through and through. Or I'm sorry, Okada is a New Japan guy through and through. So to see them have this match, in a way, is an ode to the wonders that New Japan does for AEW. Let me explain that. Let me unpack that. You see, we sacrifice the quality of New Japan as fans naturally with the existence of AEW. Before AEW was a thing, New Japan was where the spirit of this alternative revolution for wrestling lived. And now with AEW coming into play, especially with the financial backings that Tony Khan is able to bring, they just go ahead and scoop up the guys that we know and love from New Japan as an American audience. And yes, it's unfortunate for New Japan. I really hope New Japan is able to get back to a heyday of sorts and begin to grow and push homegrown stars. I do think that this is something that is done, but we all know, you know, and I know they could do a better job at it. So I'm hoping they get there. Nonetheless, seeing guys like Okada, even though he's been an AEW guy for a minute now, wrestle on the Forbidden Door pay per view really continues to in a supplemental fashion bring that Forbidden Door vibe. They really had to save this show, I think is what I'm trying to get at here. They really had to save this show. That's why they gave us Hangman versus MJF, right? A high caliber match in 2025 given to us on Forbidden Door, which is more so usually a match or a card where you're going to see a lot of New Japan guys. That just didn't happen this year. So they really had to pick up the slack by giving us a marquee matchup, Hangman and MJF, by putting together this lights out steel cage match, which ended up being really entertaining, by putting Swerve and Okada in the ring together. One genuine crossover that we did get was Kyle Fletcher versus Hiromu Takahashi, which was very fun. They did what they could. And I think the execution of this year's Forbidden Door, circumstances given that New Japan did not have a lot of talent to offer to this card, was a good pay-per-view. Was it the ideal follow-up to All In, which was an absolute banger? Maybe not, but we'll have to wait and see how All Out goes. Easy for me to say. So, yeah, I'll give this pay-per-view, I mean, like a 7 out of 10, but I can live with it. It was still great fun. It was still a lot of good fun. Better luck to AEW and New Japan putting on a much better and much more to the definition Forbidden Door pay-per-view next year. I think if they put Forbidden Door back before the G1 climax, early summer instead of late summer, we will see Forbidden Door as it was meant to be seen. And this year was kind of a unique situation, but they made the best of it. It was still very fun to watch. I actually headed over to Dave and Buster's down the road from me to watch this. And I got to tell you, man, watching AEW at a public setting is weird, right? Especially where I'm from here in Colorado, man, there's just not a lot of pro wrestling spirit and energy. You got your local indie promotions, but at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like it did when I lived in LA. It doesn't feel like the East Coast where you just have a lot more wrestling fans and wrestling culture, and that's okay. It just felt weird watching AEW in public. It just, like AEW isn't really known to be quote unquote there yet. Like, yes, I've consumed a WWE premium live event in public aplenty, and WWE's at a point where anybody that's watching is at least going to know one or two people, Rhea Ripley being the most common these days. But AEW, like, not a lot of people that are not diehard wrestling fans know what AEW is yet. So to be in this public setting watching Forbidden Door at 11 a.m. on a Sunday, drinking a coffee at Dave & Buster's, unique situation, comedically so. Let's move on, guys. With an AEW pay-per-view, we know that WWE is going to counter program. And this past weekend, they countered with WWE Heatwave. They've even gone as far as to referring to NXT premium live events as WWE premium live events. We would have called this NXT Heatwave for years and years in the past, but now we're calling them WWE events, WWE Heatwave. Kind of a little nitpicky thing. I'm not going to get too much into it. You know how I ramble. So let's keep it going. Two big takeaways from WWE Heatwave as well. And for once, these shows weren't programmed on top of each other. Thank goodness. We were able to enjoy Forbidden Door throughout the day, and then we got to enjoy WWE Heatwave in the evening. And we saw Dark State defeat Hank and Take for the NXT Tag Team Championship, right? Dark State is a fun faction that has been a focal point of NXT programming for a few months now. And I'm glad to see them with Tag Team Gold. I think it's weird because Dark State really works. In my mind, they're really over. They all have different, distinct vibes, but somehow they come together and make it work as a faction. It's one of those intangible, unexplainable things where you look at it and you say, this really shouldn't work. And somehow it just does. And I'm so happy for them. Like, Dark State is very entertaining. And we'll see how these guys not only establish as the Dark State faction, excuse me, Dark State fashion. Is that like goth fashion? We'll see how these guys evolve as the Dark State faction, but we'll also see how these guys evolve individually, and we'll see what comes of that. Very similar to how the Shield came up and became, look at them now, they're all huge single stars. And then we also had the Knockouts World Championship, TNA's main title for the women, on the line, as Ash by Elegance was able to win a three-way match for it, a triple threat match. I could say triple threat because it's a WWE product. Ash by Elegance, your new Knockouts World Champion. And I think it's about time. I think I've been waiting to see Ash by Elegance hold this Knockouts World Championship and lead the TNA women's division. I think she's got enough reps as a TNA wrestler comparative to her past life as Dana Brooke, a WWE superstar. Doesn't really make much of a difference these days now that the two companies are working together. Not really. But yeah, we have slowly seen Ash by Elegance grow into this Knockouts World Championship role. And I'm excited to see how she does with it. It's going to be excellent. So those are two big takeaways from WWE Heatwave, right? Solid premium live event for NXT, and I think positively subpar pay-per-view for AEW and New Japan in this collaborative Forbidden Door pay-per-view. That means, I still think I had more fun watching Forbidden Door, to be honest. I just naturally enjoy AEW's pay-per-views more than I would enjoy an NXT premium live event. So do with that information what you will. I am excited to see how the first WWE and AEW head-to-head situation goes next month, with AEW All Out going head-to-head with WWE WrestlePalooza, the first premium live event on ESPN. ESPN's streaming service. I have yet to identify if they will be playing this live on ESPN. If they will, I will be watching the ESPN channel. Nonetheless, guys, let's move on. We have plenty to talk about here. We've just gone over two big shows that we were grateful to have over the weekend. Let's get into a bit of a crazy incident that took place, I believe, on Saturday night, this past Saturday night, as KnockX Pro Wrestling lost their WWE ID affiliation after Rampage Jackson's son, Raja Jackson, beat the hell out of a indie wrestler, right? We see footage of this indie wrestler not doing what he should do in front of Rampage Jackson's son, cracking a aluminum can over Raja Jackson's head. Right, this it's backstage. They're recording. Raja Jackson, an MMA fighter like his father, does not appreciate this and gets super pissed off. And they later work out that Raja Jackson will be interfering in this wrestler's match. Only when Raja Jackson jumps the barricade and interferes in his match, he actually beats the hell out of him to the point where you see this indie wrestler go unconscious, and you see half the backstage locker room have to hold Rampage Jackson's son back from further ultimately killing this guy, right? So, really messed up situation. I don't want to have to be talking about this, to be honest with you. It's just we really do at Wrestling is Bullshit consider ourselves to be different, and while this is something that everyone else covered, I normally don't like to take the low hanging fruit of what everyone else is talking about. I like to stick to the shows, WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan, etc. shows. This is obviously like something we wouldn't be talking about, but a guy almost died. An indie wrestler almost died because you're putting an MMA fighter in Raja Jackson in the ring to do a run in, and bro clearly didn't know that this stuff is fake and just proceeded to beat the hell out of him, almost flatlined the guy. Not good. Looks like KnockX Pro Wrestling loses their WWE ID affiliation for it. I'd be upset if I were them. We'll see how this is all handled. Clearly, this is not a work, because if it was a work, the WWE ID affiliation for this independent promotion would not be going away. So this is real, this is messy, and this is real messy. I mean, what else is there to say about this? This is horrible. Wrestling is not real, okay? You have to know, and you have to gauge, and you have to run an establishment to the point where your wrestlers are safe. And you have to be able to tell, okay, if I include this person who's not a part of what we do, will they understand not to beat the living shit out of one of my wrestlers? Or will they take matters into their own hands and worsen things to the maximum, which seems to have happened? I mean, thank goodness this indie wrestler who was berated is alive today. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. We'd be having a very different conversation, I think, if that were not the case. All right, guys. I told you we were going to preview WWE Clash in Paris, the upcoming WWE Premium Live event. But before we do, we actually have a bit of a head-to-head situation on Friday night. So let's go ahead and cover that briefly, right? So SmackDown, which will be a taped show, right? SmackDown will not be happening live this week. SmackDown will be a taped show. Is going head to head with one of 3 Ring of Honor yearly premium live events. Ring of Honor does 3 premium live events a year. This one coming up this Friday afternoon is Death Before Dishonor. It is taking place an hour before SmackDown airs. Now, let me tell you why this isn't a technical head to head. Because if you have a little thing called a VPN, and you have a Netflix account and you apply the VPN to international waters, then log into your Netflix, you can watch SmackDown live, which it'll probably happen, if not in the morning, then midday. When you're done watching SmackDown, you'll be ready to watch a Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. Instead of watching it at its regular programming, you'll be able to watch it a few hours earlier. And then this Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view will be happening live at 4 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. or I'm sorry, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. There we go. Let's look at matches of significance, right? So with SmackDown, we have one match of significance, but in my opinion, it's absolutely a must-watch. We have Solo Sikoa defending the United States Championship against Sami Zayn. Should be a freaking awesome match. I'm really hoping so, man. I was hoping for a lot more out of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu in that steel cage match at SummerSlam. That didn't happen, and that's okay. What I'm hoping is Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa are able to have some good chemistry in the ring this Friday night on SmackDown for the United States Championship. I do believe it is absolutely within Sami Zayn's potential to carry young Solo Sikoa through this match and put on something entertaining. Solo Sikoa desperately needs an entertaining United States Championship match, and I hope that Sami Zayn is able to help him here and teach him a thing or two. Young Solo, while he is the United States champion in kayfabe, in real life, he is learning through these high caliber feuds that he's been in. The high caliber feud with Roman Reigns, right? The high caliber feud with the rising star in Jacob Fatu. And now with who we can consider a legend, in my opinion, wholeheartedly, Sami Zayn. So I hope this adds to the learning process of Solo Sikoa to help him evolve and grow, because I think that he can become a big star. He may not be there yet. He may not be even showing too many signs yet. I think the signs are absolutely there, just not at a high level. But yeah, I think putting Solo and Sammy in the ring for the United States Championship. I really hope that this is an entertaining match and both men come out all the better for it. Now, let's get into Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. I have 3 matches of significance to highlight here. First and foremost, the reason that I want to watch this premium live event of Ring of Honor is because Bandito will be defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Hechicero. Bandito versus Hechicero. That right there, if you are down for Lucha Libre, that right there is what you want to watch. And I am down for Lucha Libre as a proud Latino. So I am very excited to see Bandito versus Hechicero for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I really wouldn't mind a title change here. I think Hechicero can really not elevate, but uphold the greatness that Bandito is doing with the Ring of Honor World Championship. And if Bandito retains, I'm also cool with that because who doesn't love Bandito? He's fantastic. We also have Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, defending against Mina Shirakawa, in which should be a fantastic match. Both women are excellent, are fantastic. This will be a Women's World Championship match to watch any day of the week. Last but not least, on the matches to highlight for Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor is Lee Moriarty defending the Pure Championship against Sarua. Yeah, back to back, right? So watch SmackDown midday with that VPN and then pay about $10 to watch this Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor premium live event. You can watch it with a monthly subscription to Honor Club. So I mean, $10 to see Bandito versus Hechicero. As long as I'm not doing anything on Friday, I'm watching this. And of course, I'm trying to catch SmackDown 2 when it airs live earlier in the day for the international Netflix audience. Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, last but not least, guys, we've been here about 20 minutes. Let's get you out in less than 30 total. And let's go over WWE Clash in Paris, which does take place this upcoming Sunday. First and foremost, we have John Cena versus Logan Paul. And this is going to be a fun match, right? You got to think that WWE Creative is wondering, should we give John Cena the win or should we give Logan Paul the win? Both decisions are absolutely worth pondering, especially given the context. So I wonder how it's going to go, man. I really do wonder how it's going to go with John Cena and Logan Paul. I'm sure it'll be a fun match. Some of the best pro wrestling matches are always the matches where we don't know who's going to win. Pro wrestling does indeed get predictable more often than not. I will say that right now. But when you don't know who's going to win in a match like John Cena versus Logan Paul, where it can literally go either way, that's when pro wrestling is at its best, right? We have Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, a high caliber match that they've been building between Reigns and Reed. And I'm excited for this one as well. This has a big match feel to it. They built this well. You got to think Roman is going over in this one, but crazier things have happened. Sheamus versus Rusev in a quote unquote old fashioned Donnybrook match. They've been building this match too, and this is going to be a fantastic payoff between the feud of Sheamus and Rusev. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, which is basically a street fight, more or less, with interesting weapons. It'll be very fun. It'll be awesome. You gotta think Rusev is going over here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give the fella Sheamus the rub. We'll see what happens, man. This is another one that can really go either way, which is an amazing thing to say about a wrestling match. And then our last 2 matches, we have Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Nikki Bella. This is a high caliber match, Becky versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You know, I understand a lot of wrestling fans aren't too satisfied or impressed with Becky Lynch over the past couple of years, but I think she's been doing fantastic work with that Women's Intercontinental Championship. And now she's about to wrestle Nikki Bella with the title on the line. This Women's Intercontinental Championship has come to mean something. When I think of women's wrestling on Monday Night Raw, I honestly don't think of the Women's World Championship at this point. I think of the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And that's just a testament to how well they've been booking this new women's mid-card title. So I'm very excited to see Becky versus Nikki for that belt. And I'm also excited with that same token to see the Women's World Championship get another new beginning. right? We thought we got a new beginning with Naomi winning the title last month. Unfortunately, she had to leave due to an incoming pregnancy that has transpired. So she will be relinquishing the Women's World Championship. It's great for Jimmy Uso and Naomi that they are having a child. That's fantastic. But unfortunately, as the wrestling fan, I would be remiss to not point out that she was about to do great things with the Women's World Championship. And it's kind of a blow to the Women's World Championship more than it is to her because she's going to come back when she's ready and pick it right back up for this new beginning of the Women's World Championship to fall so short. So I'm hoping for a new beginning with the Women's World Championship, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's continue. Last but not least, what I presume will be the main event of WWE Clash in Paris. It will be a fatal four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship as Seth frickin' Rollins defends the belt against LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. High caliber fatal four-way match. And oh my goodness, this is going to be so much fun. All four wrestlers are great in the ring and will complement each other well in what will be a fast-paced, crazy-ass match. I'm very excited to see who comes out of this. I imagine Rollins retains somehow, some way. But yeah, next time we'll be talking to each other through this show, we will be discussing the fallout of WWE Clash in Paris, which is a 5 match card that is bound for excellence. All right, guys, it is my time to get on out of here. We wrapped it up in under 30 minutes. That's the way we like to do it. It's been a very busy week or so in pro wrestling, right? We had Forbidden Door, of course, with an AEW pay per view, usually comes at the very least an NXT pay per view. And we also look forward to a head-to-head matchup with SmackDown in the U.S. title match going up against Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. And then after that, this upcoming Sunday, we have WWE Clash in Paris, a premium live event that will be excellent. So let's keep eating good, wrestling fans. Keep enjoying this stuff, man. Keep enjoying this stuff. Hope all is well. Keep giving maximum effort in life. Keep the ones around you happy. Tell them you love them. And yeah, be good, be happy. I will talk to you guys next time. Peace out.